Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. President Reagan laced into congressional critics today, accused them of meddling in White House handling of foreign affairs, and declared American leadership is back. The White House called it a major foreign policy speech and insisted it was not related to the political campaign. Referring to his critics, Mr. Reagan said, "We will not return to the days of hand-wringing defeatism, decline, and despair." Bill Plant has details.
President Reagan came down hard on congressional critics of his foreign policy, calling for a return to what he described as the honorable American tradition that partisan politics stops at the water's edge. The president also suggested that Congress had gone soft on the occasional need to use force.
Military force, either direct or indirect, must remain an available part of America's foreign policy.
The president's speech, which was beamed by the U.S. government to 18 other nations, was billed by the White House as a broad overview of foreign policy. Mr. Reagan called for arms control and at the same time defended his policy of peace through strength. But his toughest language was addressed to the Congress, which he said was wavering on aid to Central America and had helped to sabotage his policy in Lebanon and prolong the violence.
I believe that once we established bipartisan agreement on our course in Lebanon, the subsequent second-guessing about whether to keep our men there severely undermined our policy.
Mr. Reagan argued that though Congress had given itself more responsibility for foreign policy, it often didn't seem to know how to use it.
Unfortunately, many in the Congress seem to believe they're still in the troubled Vietnam era, with their only task to be vocal critics and not responsible partners in developing positive, practical programs to solve real problems.
Bipartisan reaction to Mr. Reagan was less than enthusiastic.
This is an election year. The president carries a lot of heavy baggage on his foreign policy failures.
It's the fault not only of the Congress, but of the administration and the State Department. If we would work out our difficulties, we'd have fewer troubles around the world.
Well, it's very tough to get a bipartisan foreign policy if you're reaching out with one hand and punching with the other.
Later today, the Democrats' outrage mounted, and the White House got a little nervous, insisting the purpose of the speech wasn't to try to blame Congress for failures in foreign policy. Spokesman here also vigorously denied that the president was trying to make Congress an election year issue. But they don't deny that they do expect much of the public to side with the president. Bill Plant, CBS News, the White House.
Federal Reserve Board raised its discount rate half a percentage point to 9% today. That's the first increase since the spring of 1981. The discount rate is the interest rate that the Fed charges when it makes loans to commercial banks. The Fed increases the discount rate when it wants to curb credit expansion and discourage banks from borrowing. The move comes just a day after major banks announced another jump in the prime lending rate. The Labor Department today reported the nation's civilian unemployment rate held steady at 7.8% in March. That is the first time in 7 months now that the jobless rate has not dropped. But most analysts said today that the monthly decline in unemployment was just interrupted, not ended. The space shuttle blasted off on another mission today, and this time there was quite a crew along. 5 humans and 3,000 live honeybees as passengers. The humans are going into space to make a service call on a broken satellite. The bees are for an experiment to see if bees act like bees at zero gravity. Morton Dean has a report from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
3, 2, 1, solid motor ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of Challenger and the first flight to repair a satellite in space. We have cleared the tower.
The shuttle was on its way toward proving a point. This 11th flight was planned to validate for the first time the spaceship's ability to perform one of the principal tasks for which it was designed.
Roger, Pinky. We were wondering how it's going up there. Are you guys having a good time? Stand by. I'll take a poll.
The 5-man crew will transform the Challenger into a high-flying, highly sophisticated service station. On Sunday, they will make a road call to the ailing scientific satellite. Astronaut Pinky Nelson will use a jet backpack to fly away from the shuttle to the Solar Max satellite, and he'll latch onto it to stop it from spinning and wobbling, so the spaceship's robot arm can grab the satellite and lift it into the cargo bay. All this while traveling over 17,000 miles an hour, 300 miles above the Earth. The on-duty mechanics, Nelson and James Van Hoften, will use a bag of space-age tools to replace several parts before the Solar Max is dropped off to resume its study of the sun. It's an exhausting and dangerous task, but it's less expensive than sending up a new satellite. The new satellite would cost $235 million, about $190 million more than the repair job. Morton Dean, CBS News, Kennedy Space Center, Florida.
Mom, he's putting A1 steak sauce on his hamburger.
My dear nephew, what is hamburger? Chopped ham? No, it's chopped steak. And what's better on steak than A1? A1 makes hamburgers taste like steak burgers. Take a bite. A1's herbs and spices blend with the meat's natural juices.
It's delicious.
Sure.
It's really juicy and tastier.
Best hamburger you'll ever have. Because it's a steak burger.
Hey, your uncle's steak burger.
A1 makes hamburgers taste like steak burgers.
24 years now, I've been earning my bread by moving my fingers. Picking banjo for a bluegrass band. So when my arthritis acts up, well, it's a good thing there's Anderson.
Regular strength pain relievers stop at 650 milligrams, but Anacin gives you more medicine for temporary relief of minor arthritis pain, 800 milligrams.
Oh man, arthritis don't go. Take it on me.
Anacin, more medicine.
Skies cleared over much of the Northeast today, but floods produced by a slow-moving rainstorm forced thousands to seek emergency shelter and blocked major highways. Chris Kelly reports.
The nightmare began when a 5-inch rainfall turned sections of northern New Jersey into a giant lake. Rivers and streams poured into neighborhoods, making it almost impossible for rescue workers to reach people in their homes.
The current is just too strong to go in there with it. We had ropes around ourselves to try to get in there, and they just couldn't get in there.
Without these trucks here, I would have been stranded there all night.
Many people were stranded, including 10 who were marooned for hours atop a shopping center.
We heard shouts last night. We couldn't hear where they, locate them until this daylight this morning.
It was the worst flood here in 15 years, and for thousands of evacuees, everything was lost, their homes in ruin.
My son just came out this morning. There was about 5 feet in our living room, so everything's completely underwater.
Yes, sir.
We're going to New York City.
Not this way, sir.
Well, how do I get there?
We really don't know right now.
And north of New York, travel was halted on 2 major highways, still underwater today. Rivers raged out of control in the area, where a foot of snow fell just 1 week ago. This time, a month's worth of rain poured down in just 2 days. Chris Kelly, CBS News, New York.
Last night, CBS News reported the FBI's nationwide search for Christopher Bernard Wilder, a suspect in a series of murders, rapes, kidnappings, and disappearances involving at least 7 young women. Well, as a result of the publicity about the case, the FBI has received an unusual videotape. Rita Braver reports.
The FBI won't say who provided the tape, but it appears to have been made for a video dating service. Wilder talked about the kind of social life he wanted.
I have what I call a need to meet and socialize on a more wider basis than I have been doing. I want to date. I want to socially meet and enjoy the company of a number of women. I would like to, again, see depth, sincerity, a long term, but not right at this very moment, jumping into a marriage basis by any means.
Wilder's latest victim is believed to be Michelle Korfman, who disappeared from a Las Vegas beauty pageant on Sunday. Her abandoned car was discovered in a parking lot on Tuesday. But now the FBI says it has a reliable tip that by Tuesday, Wilder was in Lake Tahoe. He was seen traveling alone. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.
There were some new developments today in the case of baby Jane Doe, the severely handicapped baby girl who's been the object of a bitter court fight pitting her parents against the Reagan administration. It was disclosed today that the baby, now 6 months old, went home from the hospital in suburban New York and recently underwent surgery to relieve fluid pressure on the brain. It was her parents' earlier refusal to approve surgery that had prompted the federal government's demand for access to the baby's medical records, that on grounds that the lack of surgery might be a civil rights violation. In refusing the operation, the parents had said that they did not want to prolong the baby's pain. They now say they agreed to this operation because if the surgery was going to make her more comfortable, then that is what we wanted for her.
Some springs, gardeners think good weather's never coming.
It comes. But how do you make up for lost time? With Stern's Miracle Grow plant food. Years of testing at a major university proved plants fed with Miracle grow faster, stronger, produce more flowers and vegetables than with other types of plant foods. So even if it's been a cold, wet spring, you can make up for lost time and get more from your garden with Miracle Grow.
It's the one that took the stick out of gum and puts the fresh in your bread. Yeah, Freedom's the one that took the stick out of gum and puts the fresh in your bread. Yeah, Freedom's the one.
Freedent gum not only won't stick to your dental work, it helps clean in between to freshen your breath while you chew.
Freedom's the one that took the stick out of gum and puts the fresh in your breath. Freedom's the one.
Freshen your breath with non-stick Freedent.
Conflicting reports this evening about what happened in the West African nation of Cameroon. Government-controlled radio from the capital says that loyalist troops have defeated a coup attempt by junior military officers, but the U.S. State Department reports that there was a military takeover and that it apparently was violent. None of the 1,200 Americans in Cameroon was believed in danger. Poland's communist government today called it a compromise, but the settlement reached in the month-old War of the Crosses with the Roman Catholic Church clearly is a church victory. The government had ordered the removal of all crucifixes from state-owned buildings, but now says some crosses will be allowed back in public schools and that students will not have to declare their recognition of the secular nature of the schools. The Democratic presidential candidates took a break in campaigning for Tuesday's Pennsylvania primary and flew to Wisconsin today to campaign for the 18 convention delegates at stake in tomorrow's caucuses there. They also stepped up attacks on each other. Walter Mondale again accused Gary Hart of being wishy-washy on supporting the nuclear freeze. And Hart filed a formal complaint with the Federal Election Commission challenging the legality of Labor Union Political Action Committee money that is being funneled to people running as Mondale delegates. While a lot of attention is still focused on the fight in the frostbite states, there's a crucial test coming up next month in Texas. A test not only of the candidates' strengths, but the power of the nation's fastest-growing minority group, Hispanics. Ed Rabel has our report.
They are Mexican Americans out of work, standing on line for free food in the Rio Grande Valley. They are also targets of the largest voter registration drive ever mounted here to sign up 200,000 new Hispanic voters before Election Day. Why should anybody care? Listen.
Texas is the crucial battleground. It is the battleground of the battlegrounds. The Hispanic vote, in my opinion, will be the swing vote.
Todos necesitamos nosotros votar este año, porque hay elecciones para presidente.
The power of the church is behind all this, a kind of quiet voter revolution going on here while politicians who would be president looked elsewhere for votes. Now Hispanics are saying, you'd better look here.
We're saying, hey, you know, both Democrats and Republicans, if you want our vote, if you want our support, we need help right now.
In 1982, the Mexican Americans accounted for only 8% of the vote, but
the state is so evenly balanced, particularly in national races, that 8% of anything is an awfully big percentage. I would anticipate it would be higher this time.
They are credited with giving Governor Mark White, a Democrat, the margin of victory. And the number of registered Hispanic voters has grown since then. The same is true of Hispanic voter turnout in recent years. In the past, this has always been a kind of mandatory stop for national politicians who used the setting to court America's Hispanics.
The politicians would just promise and promise and promise, and the issues would just get passed on from year, election to election, and never get attacked. They'd just be left alone.
This old man, who's seen the politicians come and go, says voting is pointless because nothing ever changes. But that attitude is changing, especially among younger voters.
If the Democrats don't pay attention to us, we're going to elect Republicans. Somebody's got to pay attention to us. The one that does is the one that gets our vote. It's very simple.
It is very simple. So many of these younger voters are being registered here that they cannot be ignored.
It's a sleeping giant that we're going to all go after with equal vigor.
They have increased registration, they have increased turnout, and they could well elect the next president of the United States.
Do I need to register anyone to vote?
Ed Rabel, CBS News in the Rio Grande Valley.
A minute ago, I said there were 18 convention delegates at stake in the Wisconsin caucuses tomorrow. The people in Wisconsin know, of course, there are 78 delegates at stake. One people, two nations. Well, today in Tennessee, they celebrated a huge family reunion for the first time in almost a century and a half. James McManus reports.
This is the story of a flame that would not die. It burns here in the Great Smoky Mountains of North Carolina. It lights a secret place in the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. And the same fire burns on this torch, carried by Cherokee runners. The Cherokee say that when the flame dies, the world ends.
For us, the eternal flame symbolizes the continuation of our culture and our religion and even our race.
Listen to the story. 146 years ago, 17,000 Cherokee were driven from these mountains by the U.S. Army, forced to march 1,200 miles to Oklahoma. 4,000 men, women, and children died. It was called the Trail of Tears. From their last council meeting here in Red Clay, Tennessee, the Cherokee carried the flame from their sacred council fire and kept it burning for more than 100 years in Oklahoma. But the story does not end there. The children of North Carolina's Qualla Reservation come from a few hundred Cherokee who fled the soldiers in 1838 and hid among the Great Smokies. For more than 100 years, the Eastern Cherokee kept the faith, and one day they brought a flame from the old council fire in Oklahoma back to their homeland. And now the Qualla runners are carrying that flame to Red Clay for today's Council of Reunion, the first since 1838. There is a flash of anger in young Cherokee who know about the Trail of Tears.
It makes you mad if you read it in your Cherokee. You don't think that people could be so cruel to a nation that was so civilized.
But Chief Robert Youngdeer finds only sadness in the stories.
Time erases everything but the memories. Well, there's really no bitterness.
At Red Clay, Chief Ross Swimmer of the Oklahoma Nation prayed with Chief Youngdeer. And on a nearby hilltop, the sacred fire came home after nearly 150 years. The Cherokee teach their children to respect people of all races and to forgive. The council fire is lighted. The Trail of Tears has come full circle. James McManus, CBS News, Red Clay, Tennessee.
How do I keep the wallpaper and the paste on the walls and off me?
Ask Sherwin-Williams. What kind of wallpaper will go with a striped couch? Ask Sherwin-Williams.
At your Sherwin-Williams store, we have the answers to your wall covering and decorating questions. And during our April sale, buy one roll of any in-stock wallpaper at regular price and get the second roll for just $1.
Ethel, where's the couch?
Next time.
Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Wrap the gift yet? No, my arthritis is acting up and I'm out of aspirin. Oh. Take my Bufferin. Plain aspirin's smart, but it can upset your stomach. Taking Bufferin for minor arthritis pain is smarter. Some stomachs can be delicate, like fine china, and plain aspirin can upset them. Bufferin has aspirin doctors recommend most for hours of relief, plus special buffers that help protect against stomach upset. How do you feel now? A lot smarter.
Bufferin is smarter for arthritis, also in extra strength.
U.S. government sources confirmed tonight that the Central Intelligence Agency is actively directing the mining of Nicaraguan harbors. It had been thought that anti-Sandinista rebels were responsible, but the government sources say that these rebels are not doing the mine laying. The nationality of just who is not known, but the CIA has a freighter off Nicaragua's coast, and boats are lowered from it to take the mines into the harbors. A bizarre story unfolded in a Los Angeles court today, a story involving sexual abuse of children in daycare centers, a case that prosecutors say could have national implications. We have a report from Terry Drinkwater.
Nationally, over 1 million children are now in daycare centers and nursery schools, enrolled in most cases because their mothers must work. In this school, like the vast majority, the youngsters are properly cared for. But elsewhere, in alarming numbers, preschoolers have been exploited sexually. What prosecutors charge happened here at the McMartin School in a suburb of Los Angeles is just the latest, though perhaps the most shocking case in the country. Today, Virginia McMartin, 3 family members, and 3 teachers were charged with more than 100 counts of child molesting. The prosecutor argued for no bail, citing fear among victims' families that if the McMartin staff were not behind bars, they might harm the children again.
My children are afraid to play outside alone, for fear Ray will come and grab them.
The district attorney believes that toddlers have been victimized at this school for the past 10 years. As required by law, the state makes surprise checks on the schools. A 1978 report, the children happily enjoyed their indoor and outdoor activities. And later, well-run and well-staffed. All is in good order. The school had a long waiting list.
It had all of the appearances of being a well-run, sound operation.
Parents charged the inspectors were negligent. But why didn't the youngsters tell their parents what was happening to them? Prosecutors say, in this case, as in most child molestation cases, the victims were threatened.
If a child's puppy is beheaded in front of him, or a rabbit, and someone sticks a knife in that rabbit, that's a very convincing thing, because what invariably goes along with that act is the statement, "This is you," if you talk.
Key McFarland has treated hundreds of sexually abused children.
This is a little girl, and it looks like a real little girl. It's got a little belly.
She showed us how she uses anatomically correct dolls and puppets to try to coax the truth from preschoolers.
Mr. Parrott, can you help Susie show us what happened to her?
There is a mic and a recorder, less painful than talking about it to a person.
The way that you make yucky secrets go away is you tell them. And then they're out of you, and they don't make you feel bad inside anymore.
Rain Jacobs was 4 when she was abused in another suburban Los Angeles nursery school. She's now 8 and still in therapy.
It's going to take a long time before she feels like she's a real person, that she's worth something, and that she really is a good little girl.
Cynthia Taylor's son was 2. He's now 6.
He had a lot of resentment towards me, because I'm the one who made him go. Yes. He'd tell me every morning he didn't want to go.
And you know why now?
Yes, now I know why, because he had been abused.
The problem is so vast, some schools are beginning to teach children that they are indeed very vulnerable.
Does everybody know about private parts? Everybody know what that is? Private parts of your body? You know that your body belongs to you? Nobody has a right to touch your body if you don't want them to. Or in ways.
And the lesson? What to say to someone who touches you.
Leave me alone. Good.
Meanwhile, in the McMartin case, there have been denials from some of those charged.
I saw no evidence of anybody harming any children.
For the prosecution, there will be the problem of youngsters testifying.
Most children, when they are molested by a person that they trust, a person they have confidence in.
And parents beyond this and other courtrooms?
They don't want to face that these things do happen. And they do. All the time.
Studies show in this country 1 youngster in 4 is sexually abused before reaching high school. Terry Drinkwater, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Late today, 5 of the 7 McMartin School defendants were denied bail.
For years, people with big lawns have faced the same problem. What to do with the clippings? Now there's the John Deere 6.5 bushel twin bagger. 2 big hoppers you line with plastic trash bags, so cleanup's neat and easy. It could be the best way ever to take care of your clippings. We think everyone should have one. The twin bagger, available for John Deere lawn tractors and riding mowers.
return of American business. It's coming back smarter, more competitive. AT&T can help your business with smarter techniques to manage information.
Your region looks promising.
Distribution.
We can ship it to you without a layover.
All by tailoring the AT&T long-distance network to work for you in ways you never thought of. AT&T Communications.
No matter which of these remedies you take, it doesn't have the strongest doctor-recommended ingredient for gas pains and pressure. Gas X does. Chewable Gas X tablets have the strongest, fastest gas reliever you can buy. Painful gas bubbles are much like beer bubbles. Add any of those other remedies here, Gas X here. Gas X got rid of the gas. Other remedy did not. Get Gas X with the strongest, fastest gas reliever you can buy.
Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain retired in 1973 after averaging more than 30 points a game during 14 seasons in the National Basketball Association. It looked as though his record of 31,419 career points would last a long time. Well, it didn't, and Jerry Bowen has the story in Las Vegas.
The sellout crowd expected to witness history last night. The odds were as good as you can get that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would hit his season average of 21-plus points, just enough to break a record set more than a decade ago by Wilt Chamberlain. It was old career against new career then, power against finesse, as Chamberlain and Jabbar traded elbows, dunks, and block shots in the early 70s. And when he retired, Chamberlain had 31,419 points. He also set 90 other records, but only purists remember them. Last night, the record everyone understands went down, almost in the first half of a game where defense was a spectator too. Jabbar making 16 points, a one-man scoring machine. In the fourth quarter, he was one basket away.
Swing left, right hand, 12-footer.
All his playing life as Lou Alcindor in high school and later on the championship UCLA teams, great things were expected of him. Last night, he found relief.
John le Carre wrote a book called "The Spy Who Came In From the Cold," and it was like coming in from the cold. You know, a big burden off my shoulders, and I think off the team's shoulders.
And best of all, as far as Jabbar was concerned, his team won too. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Las Vegas.
And that's the news. I'm Bob Schieffer, CBS New York, sitting in for Dan Rather. Good night.
This is the Hearts Care Center, where we show you all the ways Hearts can help your pet with our 2-in-1 family of flea and tick-killing products. The Hearts 2-in-1 Plus Reflecting Collar for nighttime safety and full-time flea and tick protection. Or the famous Hearts 2-in-1 Long-Lasting Collar. Now it kills fleas and ticks for 5 months. With 2-in-1 flea and tick powder, aerosol and pump sprays, and Rid Flea shampoo, you can choose just what your dog or cat needs to kill fleas and ticks. Hearts Care, everything good for your pet.
Men, we're going to live off the land. It's going to be rough. Either you pitch in or shape up.
When you're far from home, you can't beat a Honda portable generator. You get 600 watts of power when you're nowhere near an electrical outlet.
Commander Fred, can we come in? Hold it, men. I'll be right out.
The Honda portable generators for camping, hunting, boating, even charging your car battery.
Doctors warn, never insert cotton swabs into the ear canal to remove wax. Yet that's where excess wax can harden to create pressure. Now, Murine offers the only complete medically approved way for you to remove wax. Only Murine has drops to safely loosen hardened wax when used as directed, plus an ear washer to gently flush wax away. Remember, there's only one complete way for you to remove wax. The Murine Earwax Removal System.
This is CBS.
In our news tonight, a convicted sex offender is back on work release despite objections from some people who run the program. A federal judge says the state has failed in the reform of Tennessee prisons. And Fort Campbell has a shot at getting thousands of new troops. Those stories and a lot more.